The Huskies are trying to build on a win from last week. The Gophers are as well. And P.J. Fleck revealed the secret sauce to his team's win over USC. It turns out it was Sprite. P.J. saying he gave his players a concoction which included Sprite to drink as a means to build up their confidence after the narrow loss to Michigan. It's hard to know, Jake, if that's precisely why they win, but they needed to think differently. What do you think of the motivational tactics?
I think I got to get some Sprite, and I think Deshaun Foster maybe he has to serve his team up some Sprite this weekend as well, right? You know, Minnesota's at home. They avoid, they have an upset versus USC. Now they're kind of rolling. PJ feels good about the team. Now UCLA's at home. Boy, could they use a win. Deshaun Foster, get some Sprite or some club soda, whatever, and give it to your roster. I will say this,
any lemon lime soda will do. Yeah.
Yes, exactly, and we'll confirm that this weekend. You're most vulnerable after a loss, though, right?
Yeah.
Like you are. It's an emotional victory. You're almost hung over for a few days. It's a night game. You wake up Sunday and you're feeling good. You're walking around town, but oh my gosh, this is a short week and a long trip to travel all the way out to California. So you got to bounce back quickly. And I think what's fun about this matchup is UCLA's run defense. They've been pretty stout, 25th in the FBS in rush yards allowed per game. We saw them really shut down Penn State's rushing attack last week. This is a big game for Max Brosmer, who I think has been everything that P.J. Fleck wanted him to be. He's been steady, efficient. He's getting the ball out to a bunch of guys. I think this is the week for him to step up and win the game like Darius Taylor did last week.
And UCLA, an area where they have really struggled, has been in the pass rush. They're just not getting to the passer at all. So, Brosmer should have some time back there. A huge difference from what we saw from UCLA a week ago. It's interesting you mentioned the motivational tactics, or a year ago, I should say. It's interesting you mentioned the motivational tactics with Minnesota because PJ really spoke to that this week and said that his message to them Sunday was, hey, there's a lot of meat left on this bone. There's a lot of places where we can get better. I think exactly for the reasons you're talking about, whereas he was trying to build them up here these last couple of weeks and really complimented the job that the guys within the facility did in keeping their chins up, particularly after the loss to Michigan. Now you've got the opposite problem, right? Now all of a sudden it's, hey, we won this game and it was amazing and the fans rushed the field and it was really a monumental win, but now you got to follow it up against a team that you probably should beat.
Yeah, and he's saying, look, guys, like this is what we're capable of. This is what we can do. You look at some of their, like North Carolina, gosh, should have won that game, right? Michigan, boy, did they have some opportunities to win that game. Like they've had opportunities this year, but what PJ is saying is they're not good enough right now to fully dominate every team on their schedule. There's going to be razor-thin margins, probably again this week. So he's saying, guys, you can do it. We need this level of emotion and discipline, play to this standard every single week.
And from UCLA's point of view, the worst part of your schedule is behind you now, right? Like, I know people criticize UCLA and just kind of the fact they haven't scored, and obviously they're 1-4 here. The last 4 teams they played are a combined 20-1.
Right.
The schedule does get decidedly easier here. I'm not suggesting that a game against Minnesota is easy by any stretch, but again, you compare it to who they have played here so far this year, and I think Deshaun Foster can look at this group and say, hey, the worst is behind us. We're at home now. Let's try to move this positively and get back into the win column.
They've been playing really hard, too. Like, I mean, to go on the road to Penn State, like that's a team that's been dominant. UCLA is playing hard. And when you do that, you can always win. You can always win when your team cares and is putting forth the effort.
Interesting to see what happens at quarterback this week. Ethan Garbers reportedly did practice on Monday, but had his foot heavily taped, whether or not it's him or Justin Martin, who played reasonably well, I thought, kind of thrown into the fire there against Penn State. We shall find out.